Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions and prospects are coming up in the Single Market program.
In today's program, EXPO 2017, Kazakhstan's global project. First come, first serve, the new principles of natural resource management. Tokyo Rope, to be continued. The ethnography of tourism. Hello, my name is Pavel Koktyshev and you're watching Single Market. Our today's program is dedicated to the day of the first president. EXPO 2017. Even though some months have already passed since this event was held, nevertheless the impressions still maintain their brightness. And this is understandable. The International EXPO exhibition did not just become a global platform for the presentation of future energy, but also a reason for the rest of the world to get to know Kazakhstan better. The country's ambitions, potential and plans for the near future. Natalia Romanenko, through the prism of facts and emotions, is going to remind us about how it all happens. 115 member countries, 22 international organizations, 4 million visitors, 6,000 cultural and business events, more than 140 scientific innovations presented. These are the figures that became part of history of the International 2017 exhibition, which was held in the capital of Kazakhstan, Astana.
We have seen that all the objectives that were set during the bidding phase have been reached. I mean this more than just in figures. This is not just about the numbers of countries or the numbers of visitors. All these have surpassed expectations, and I think that the people that have come to this expo have received a really interesting cultural education into the world, but also into Kazakhstan.
In the meantime, for Kazakhstan, the path towards EXPO 2017 was long and strenuous. Spain, Zaragoza, the International Specialized EXPO 2008 exhibition. This was where the president of Kazakhstan publicly announced for the first time the intention of his country to host the expo in Astana. June 12, 2012, Paris, Astana's official presentation. In his video address, the president of Kazakhstan assured that in the case that Kazakhstan's capital wins the nomination, full-fledged efforts will be put into the successful organization of the expo. November 22, 2012, Paris, 152nd General Assembly of the International Bureau of Exhibitions. According to the results of the secret ballot vote, Astana was chosen as the winner. This was a precedent. For the first time in the history of EXPO, a country from the post-Soviet space won the nomination. We have just become witnesses to a historic event. A decision was made to host the International EXPO 2017 in the capital of Kazakhstan. During the Expo exhibitions, all the countries of the world present their best technological, scientific and cultural achievements. They form a new agenda of global development. All the expectations that came from the president's speech were justified. The gold medal that was awarded to President Nursultan Nazarbayev for his personal contribution to the successful organization of EXPO 2017 attests to this. The international exhibition in Astana became a unique platform for the demonstration of leading solutions in the field of future energy in terms of the plan, form, and content. The award for Best Design among the biggest pavilions of EXPO 2017 was given to the National Pavilion of Russia, which was comprised of a number of thematic zones: energy portal, solar energy, joint Russia-Kazakhstan innovations in atomic energy, and the zone the Russian Arctic. The central place of the pavilion was occupied by a super-modern nuclear-powered icebreaker, which can plow through thick ice with ease. In order to get the full picture, specialists from Russia brought a real iceberg from the Arctic. A unique design was developed. It reflects the concept of a single energy flow. Different resources are united together, and the future of the economy depends on how smart we redistribute all the resources, not just of our economy, but also the entire world. For the in-depth engagement with the theme of future energy, among the pavilions with an area of more than 700 square meters, Germany was awarded the gold. A country which, in terms of the level of technological development in the field of renewable energy, is considered to be a world leader. Germany's pavilion presented a unique bioreactor, which unveils the potential of biomass. Inside glass panels, ordinary algae is placed. This biomass accumulates in itself the warmth from the sun and simultaneously produces a harvest of algae, which is used as fuel.
Photovoltaic has an efficiency of 12 to 15%. Solar thermal elements have an efficiency of 60 to 65. And our bioreactor facade has an efficiency of about 48%. So we are really quite good in comparison to the other established systems which convert solar.
Finland received a similar award among pavilions the year, which was less than 400 square meters. By the way, at the exhibition in Astana, specialists from Finland voiced one of the most curious facts about the topic of green economy. The lumber processing industry is one of the key exporters of the country. Nevertheless, Finland has an optimal system which allows to maintain a balance between the cutting down and planting of trees and forests. Our forests are our green gold, and already many generations are engaged in maintaining our forests alive and in a good state. The Nuralem Pavilion received the highest number of visitors at the exhibition. More than 1 million people came to see it. The pavilion was designed as the world's biggest spheric building with a diameter of 80 meters and a height of 100 meters. Nuralem was the symbol of EXPO 2017 and at the same time served as the trademark of Kazakhstan and Astana. The entire design of Nuralem was based on the idea of green energy. All types of alternative energy resources, the sun or wind, are being used to power this building. Thereby, we are preserving natural resources. After the exhibition, Nuralem will become a unique tourist attraction. The building hosts the Museum of the Future. The other structures that were built for EXPO 2017 will also be put to use. A number of large international projects will be launched on the territory of the exhibition complex. The Astana Financial Center, Center for Development of Green Technologies and Investments, and the Technological Park of IT Startups. This way, the entire EXPO exhibition complex will continue to serve towards the aims of innovative and sustainable development. According to official data, overall 452 billion tenge were spent on the organization of EXPO 2017. About 1/6 of these funds were repaid through the sale of merchandise and tickets. Some of the costs were compensated through tax revenues from small and medium enterprises, hotels, restaurants, and transport services. Finally, there are long-term benefits. These are investment agreements that were concluded within the framework of the EXPO, plus the recognizable everywhere image of Kazakhstan. That is why many experts called EXPO 2017 the global project of President Nazarbayev. The rate of extraction of material resources in Kazakhstan is faster than the replenishment of mineral resources. The majority of deposit fields are either developed or at the stage of being developed. The current imbalance can substantially deplete the main source of country's revenues. In order to prevent this, Kazakhstan's authorities have introduced a new code on resource management. Our analyst Alexander Galiyev brings us the details.
Все подробности у нашего обозревателя Александра Галиева.
Минерально-сырьевую базу Казахстана ожидают серьезные перемены.
Kazakhstan's raw material base is expecting new changes. They are connected with a new code on resource management. But first, the background story. In Kazakhstan today, there are officially more than 1,000 deposit fields that are registered. The majority of them were developed during the Soviet period. 90% of these deposit fields already have their own investors. Some background statistics. The entire investment portfolio of subsurface resource developers has 866 contracts. 214 of them concern hydrocarbon resources, and 168 contracts are on the use of subsurface waters. Another interesting fact. Out of the 100 sites that were put up for an auction and which need geological exploration, only 30 managed to attract investors. This is the Achilles heel of Kazakhstan's raw materials base. New deposit fields are not appearing on the country's geology map because the exploration works are not being done to the full extent that is possible. And in turn, full-fledged exploration is not possible due to unfavorable conditions of subsoil use for investors. As a result, investments made into the geological exploration works per 1 square kilometer are just $7. As a comparison, in Canada this figure is $203, in Australia $167. The new code on resources and subsoil use should improve the situation. What novelties does it introduce? First and foremost, this is access to geological information. Potential subsoil users have the opportunity to gain access to information on mineral resources at the state fund, if they are not classified as confidential. Another aspect, transition to a regime of licensed realization of subsoil use operations based on the Australian model. It presumes the right of principle, first come, first serve. It can be used by private individuals for conducting geological exploration and extraction of mineral resources.
полезных ископаемых. В рамках нового кодекса пересмотрены и требования.
The framework of the new code stipulates requirements on accountability for resources and raw material reserves. They have been optimized, taking into account international standards. Another novel aspect of the code, which deserves attention, is the extraction of precious metals, precious and semi-precious stones. Here we're talking about just placer mines, with an area of no more than 5 hectares and depth of up to 3 meters.
И глубиной разработки до 3 метров.
And instead of a summary, the new code on minerals and subsoil use promises to give a second wind to Kazakhstan's mineral resource base. The simplification of rules on exploration and extraction of raw materials and expansion of access to information, according to experts, will attract investors and improve Kazakhstan's potential of its geological resources. That's all from me. My name is Alexander Galiev. Until next time on Single Market. Another landmark event. In November of 2016, the president of Kazakhstan paid a working visit to Japan. During this trip, he visited the office of the transnational company Tokyo Rope. And this is where the establishment of a new production line was launched, which commenced in Almaty with the participation of the Japanese company. Today, there is another reason to think back to this project. Our correspondent brings us the details. High durability steel cables with a guaranteed service life of 50 years. Thanks to this product, the transnational company from Japan, for already more than 100 years, has been maintaining a strong position on the global market. The assets of Tokyo Rope include 10 plants, which are located in different countries. The 10th and latest was opened in the autumn of 2016 in Kazakhstan. First and foremost, the newly built plants will supply its products to the markets of Almaty and the Almaty region. Over a relatively short period of time, the new enterprise has reached the 100% production capacity level. That is why, in order to reach the regions of Kazakhstan and commence exports abroad, we made a decision to build another plant in Almaty this year and to expand the range of products. We're not talking about just a new plant, but a new enterprise that will be open in a complete different location. For its construction, a site was allocated at the industrial zone of Almaty, and all the necessary utilities and communication systems have been set up. By the way, aside from this plant, on the territory of this zone, a number of production sites will be established with the participation of Japanese investments. Japan's investors invested 3.5 billion tenge in the construction of the new plant. The realization of this project will be conducted in 3 stages. During the first stage, the already existing production line of gabion wire mesh will be moved from the old plant to the new plant. This will happen in the first half of 2018.
На втором этапе мы будем уже производить тросовую продукцию для разных отраслей промышленности.
During the second stage, we're going to make cable products for different sectors of the industry. And during the third stage, we're planning to introduce completely new innovative technologies that are unique even by world standards.
Уникальная в мировом масштабе.
For example, the plant will manufacture carbon fibers. Carbon is a composite material, which in terms of its durability is on par with metal, and at the same time it is very light. It is obtained through the process of intertwining thin threads of graphite and rubber. In addition, the new plant will take on the production of acrylic panels, which are used for noise insulation.
Для всех отраслей гражданского строительства.
For all the sectors of civic engineering, for the protection infrastructure, we have a great range of products which we're planning to develop further here in Almaty.
Развивать дальше.
Preliminary agreements on the deliveries of the products of this enterprise to a number of countries attest to the fact that these new products enjoy demand on markets abroad. Today, the company already has orders for shipments to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Mongolia, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. The most modern technologies will be used for the manufacturing of new products. For example, the production of carbon is distinguished by its complexity, and the prices of this innovative composite material are usually quite high. However, the prices of the products of Tokyo Rope will be competitive due to the relief from paying corporate income tax, customs tariffs, land and property taxes. That is why Japan's investors are confident that by the summer of 2018, the new plant will have established itself as an enterprise that can rightfully find its place under the sun on the market. Maria Kuznetsova, Anatoly Valuysky, Nijat Yusupov, exclusively for Single Market. A huge area of open space territories, unique natural landscapes, the grounded culture of nomadism. All this can set a good foundation for the development of ethnographic tourism in Kazakhstan. What's more, there is growing interest in this. What is the country doing today in terms of promotion of ethnographic tourism, and what projects are already there which can attract foreign guests? Anarta Stanbekova found out. One of the most attractive touristic platforms in the world is ethnographic. This sector helps foreign tourists understand better the soul, philosophy, and ways of the people, and thereby it transmits their national identity. Every year, ethnotourism is becoming more popular. The main reason is that due to urbanization, the ethnic diversity of the world is gradually decreasing. Tourists, like hunters, are searching attraction sites which are capable of transmitting the beauty of the authentic culture, which is slipping away. And in this respect, nomadism is a real treasure. Ruslan Abil lives in the Almaty region. He can be considered as a preserver of traditional nomadic life. 2 years ago, in the United Arab Emirates, he won a prestigious competition in falconry. Afterwards, he was invited to Turkey in order to organize a falcon show at one of the resort sites. However, Ruslan is planning to realize this idea in his home country.
Для начала бы, например, экспериментальный вариант запустить.
In order to launch the project, one needs 5 falcons, 2 yurts, open-air cages, some birds, telemetrics in order to look for lost birds, transport, and horses.
Потерявшиеся птицы, GPS, элементарные вещи, транспорт, лошади.
According to experts, the business project looks quite attractive because foreign tourists express great interest in hunting with hunting birds. Falconry today is developing in more than 70 countries and is attracting great interest. We are gradually promoting this. Therefore, we're trying to popularize this sector. For example, in order to understand how to attract foreign guests in the city of Almaty, in partnership with the UNWTO, the UN World Tourism Organization, a project is being realized. The research on average tourists along the Silk Road in the Almaty cluster. Monitoring efforts have shown that a large share of foreign tourists is comprised of specialists and business people which come to the southern metropolis on a business trip. And at the same time, they have an opportunity to try themselves out in the role of tourists. I really like Kazakhstan. I'm stunned. I like the level of service and the Kazakh hospitality. Concerning real tourists who came to the region for travels, then they are mostly citizens of China, and this is quite understandable. Today, China's residents constitute the greatest share of travelers. In addition, the Kazakhstan-China border checkpoint is located not far from Almaty. Professor Li Chaming came with his former fellow students, with whom he studied at some point at the Taiwan University. We gather as a group once a year and travel. Why did we choose Kazakhstan? Today, Kazakhstan and China have very friendly and close relations. We first arrived in Urumqi, and then from there we got to Almaty. Another factor which was revealed during the monitoring survey is that foreign tourists are interested the most in sites which can transmit the culture, traditions, and way of life of Kazakh people. In autumn of 2017, a landmark cultural event was held in Astana, the Artisan Center Kazakh Uner. Here, on a territory with an area of 800 square meters, unique samples of traditional artisan art are gathered. At the same time, guests can not just purchase the works of art, but also see how they're made. The new center is part of the general concept of creating an ethnic village, which is being developed in every region of Kazakhstan. At the same time, the Almaty project has its own unique aspects. Every tourist can not just familiarize themselves with the art, but also discover its secrets, try to turn the potter's wheel, make something out of felt, try to use the patchwork technique on pieces of fabric, and take it with you as a souvenir. There's another important moment worth mentioning about the operations of the new site. In order to maintain the thread connecting the traditions, students of art schools can undergo an apprenticeship at the workshops of the center. In 2016, the top 5 countries that achieved the best results in the tourism industry included 2 countries that have inherited their national nomadic culture. Mongolia was ranked 2nd and Kazakhstan 5th. Anarta Sambekova, Anatoly Valuysky, Bakhadjan Bakhreev, exclusively for Single Market. That's all for today. My name is Pavel Koktyshev. Kind reminder, all the episodes of our program are available on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Market.